Okay, what we did here is pulled the wheel off the El Camino. We jacked it up, we put a jack stand underneath there because you always want to have a safe garage. And what we mentioned earlier is I don't think we're going to stick with these factory wheels. We're going to have an aftermarket wheel on here that will show off this caliper. And we certainly don't want to show off this particular caliper because of how ugly it is. So what we're going to use on here is some of the VHT caliper paint. This caliper paint is good up to 900 degrees. So if you get your brakes nice and hot, it's not going to come off. Considering we're going to pull this caliper off, we're going to use the spray. Now, this project can be, this paint can be applied on the vehicle, without removing the caliper, and that's where the Dupli-Color kit comes in. This is a brushed kit. Comes in a little pint can, a brush, everything you need to complete the project, and it even comes with the caliper spray to clean the caliper. So that can be applied while the caliper is on the vehicle. We're going to pull this one off. I think we might change these brake pads while we're at it, and I think it should come out real nice. What we're going to use here is the Dupli-Color Caliper cleaner. And like I said earlier, any caliper cleaner will do. Considering this comes in the Dupli-Color kit, that's what we're going to use. And you can see how dirty this caliper is here. I mean, it's just covered in brake dust. Okay, what we did here is we pulled the caliper off as we showed you. We sprayed it down with some of the caliper cleaner and saw that there was some blue paint on there. The caliper cleaner was able to dissolve some of that blue paint, and then I took a wire brush to it and scrubbed it all down, got the grease and grime off there, and the majority of the blue paint came off. And with the engine enamel, the caliper paint is good up to 900 degrees, and you do not need a primer as well. You can just prime right over top of the clean surface here. All right, well, we finished with the front caliper. Now we're going to move on to the rear. The rear is going to be a little bit different here. So what I want to show you here is these older cars, they had drum brakes in the rear. A lot of new cars have calipers all around. Pull this off and see what we got. As we did earlier, we jacked up the vehicle, put some jack stands underneath it because you always want to have a safe garage. And here we have an unpainted brake drum here. The front caliper in the front, as you saw, was previously painted blue. This one here is bare, so give us a nice clean slate to work with. All right, well, what I did earlier was I pulled the drum off the vehicle. I have it here on the table. Unlike the caliper, we're able to take this drum off just because the caliper, pulling the brake lines off of that, and then you have to deal with rebleeding the brakes and things like that. So, in that case, it was a little easier to paint the caliper while I was on the vehicle. In this case, we're able to get the drum on the table, make it a little easier to paint. And what we did first was we knocked all the rust off of it with the wire brush. You're able to purchase that from any auto parts store. Another way to clean it is just go ahead and sandblast it if you have a sandblasting cabinet in your own garage, but not everyone has that. So just use the wire brush on this. And after that, we use the prep spray. With the prep spray, I was able to get any grease, grime, or contaminants and a lot of the dust that was left over from knocking it off with the wire brush. So that went ahead and cleaned it, and next I'm going to apply the caliper paint. With the caliper paint, it's good up to 900 degrees, and considering these brakes probably won't get anywhere near 900 degrees, I think we'll be good to go there. So I just want to start spraying here, and as mentioned, we don't have to use a primer on this. It's a self-priming paint. It's a very durable enamel. It gives off a very nice glossy finish, and as mentioned, that you can add a clear coat over top of that, which we do offer in the caliper line, for some added protection or some added gloss if you're not happy with the final result. And you certainly always want to have proper ventilation in your shop whenever you're spraying paint. If you don't, you're going to want to wear a mask. We have plenty of ventilation going on here, though. You can almost see the overspray kind of blowing away from me. So, okay, well, we waited about 5 minutes, and now we're going to start putting on the second coat. And you want to wait about 5 minutes in between coats just to let that first coat kind of tack up a little bit, so then the second and third coat have something real good to bite to.